was originally gonna just go ahead and film my December reading wrap up. I think it's the 29th today, but I'm reading a book right now that I really need to talk about. I really am going to need to talk about this in the December reading wrap up, and I'm not done with the book yet. So I am going to wait until next week to film the December reading wrap up because I need to talk about that book and I'm just not done with it. And so today instead I decided that we were going to do a little story time or restaurant story times. You guys have been asking for some more restaurant story times. So I decided right now that that's what we're doing. I did not think that through, so I don't exactly know what I'm gonna say, but we'll just think of some stuff. We'll just think of some more stories. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that I do have another ASMR channel where I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you are interested in some pretty messy ASMR role plays, then definitely check that out. It'll be linked below. I also have a non-ASMR channel where I post on Saturdays, so that will also be linked below. And then I obviously have a membership tab on this channel, so if you want to see more content from me, then definitely check out the membership tab. Also, disclaimer, there's some men outside who are playing basketball, and I live right in front of the basketball court, and they are cutting up this morning. Okay, they are screaming, they're yelling, they're doing the absolute most over this little game. It's actually crazy. So if you might hear them yelling in the background at some point, just ignore them. Okay, so I think for the first story, we are going to talk about the one time that my bosses had to call the police on one of the employees that worked there. Now, we had this one employee, and she was really nice. She was really nice, but I think that she was also like a little bit not like she didn't have the healthiest mental health. She had some, issues with that, and so she had a lot of moments where she would like really act up at work, and like obviously they didn't want to fire her because she's going through stuff, and then also they were worried about like being sued for firing her because she has like a mental health problem. So they kept her around, and because of that, she made work very eventful. I will say that much. She just had lots of instances where she would really act up. Like when I say act up, I mean she's on everybody's head. And you know what? I can't even blame her because at the time they were really trying us at that job. But one specific shift, because at the restaurant that I used to work at, the owners, it was only like 4 like separate restaurants in like 4 separate towns, so it wasn't like a huge chain or anything. And so the owners, they would pop in often, and we like knew them by name. Like we would say hi to them. Like our corporate was like pretty much in the building once or twice a week. And obviously when they come in, people like to be on their P's and Q's. Like when the bosses come, when the boss's boss comes, your boss acts different. Like they care about things that they didn't usually care about. So one specific shift, the owners came like they always do, and we say hi to them, and our bosses start to like try to get everything in order because they're there. And so this specific coworker, she was chewing gum like on the floor. Now technically that is a rule, and I guess that they had like mentioned that to her before, and so like it was like a thing. I guess like the owner might have seen it previously at like a different shift that he came in, and he mentioned it to a boss. And then this shift, the owner came in and she was chewing gum again, and so again the owner mentioned it to our general manager, and I was like, hey, like no gum on the floor, like tell her no gum on the floor. And so he went to her and he was telling her like no gum on the floor, like we've already told you this, like we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna send you home for the day. We're gonna send you home for your shift. Mind you, the shift had just started. The night shift had just started, and they were like, we're gonna send you home for this shift because this is our second time telling you this. They weren't writing her up, they weren't firing her, they were just sending her home for that one specific shift. questions. Like, I can't tell you how many times people would literally be like, okay, so what do you guys have? What do you guys have? While they're holding the menu. Baby, you're holding the menu. What do you mean? What do we have? Baby, it's right there. It's right there. It's literally right there. Like, what do you mean? What do we have? And I remember there was one time where this table, everybody else was like, had already ordered. Like, I think they came and they were like, they knew what they wanted. Like, they were on their P's and Q's, except for this one girl at the table. She didn't know what she wanted. And so everybody else ordered, and she was like, just take their orders. And then by the time you get back to me, I don't know what I want. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I loved that. I loved that they were ready because we were literally in the middle of a rush. It was so busy. So busy. And so I take everybody else's order, and then I get to her, and I'm like, okay, are you ready? And she's like, I don't really know. Like, should I get this? Should I get that? Like, I don't really know. Like, and she's asking me like all these questions about the menu, which is fine. But then I literally tell her, I'm like, because I'm looking around, and in the time that I've been talking to her, I've gotten like 3 new tables that I need to go greet and get drinks and all this stuff. So I look at her and I'm like, well, you know, there's no rush. Like, if you need a second, I can come back in like a couple minutes to give you a second, because I'm in my mind, I'm like, girl, I need to go greet these tables. Like, I can't just sit here with you while you figure out what you want to do. And she's like, no, it's okay, just give me a second. Like, I got it, just give me a second. And I'm like, okay. She's another 5 minutes go by of her just sitting there and being like, I don't know. I don't know. And again, I'm like, I can give you a second. Like, it's not a rush. And she's like, no, I got it. She's asking everybody at the table, should I get this? Should I get that? What you get? What's popular here? What's good here? I can give you a second. Because I have a bunch of stuff going on right now. It is so busy. I can't sit here with you, babe. I can give you a second. And eventually, I literally have to just tell her. I was like, I'll be back. And then I had to just go, because I'm like, obviously I didn't say it in a rude way, but I was just like, I'll be back. Like, don't worry, no worries. And then I just like left. And then I came back like 5 minutes later, and she ended up getting like the most basic like quesadilla. All this time for that. That's great. Oh my god, I remember one time, this one girl that I work with, she literally lost a customer's credit card. So like, obviously in the restaurant industry, like, in order for the customer to pay, you typically take their card, cash them out, and then bring their card back. Sometimes if you're busy, you'll like take multiple cards from multiple tables at once, and then you'll cash out all the tables, and then you'll distribute the cards back out to your tables. And so it was one, like, I think it was like a Saturday night. It was super busy, and so she was like going around and taking, everybody's cards to like cash out all her tables. She dropped one of the cards, and when she went to go cash out all her tables, she realized that she was missing that one table's card. And so she's like looking around for it. She can't find it. She cannot find it. And so she came to me and she's like, Jaden, I can't find their card. Like, I lost that table's credit card. I think it was like an Amex or something. She was like, I lost their card. I'm like, what do you mean you lost their card? You lost it. It's not funny. I was so in shock. I was like, what do you mean you lost it? Like, can't find it? And she's like, no, like, I cannot find it. Mind you, their bill was like $200 or something crazy like that. And so I'm like, okay, like, I'm helping her retrace her steps. Like, we're looking around because we don't want to have to tell our boss, and we don't want to have to tell the table just in case we find it, And so we're looking for a few minutes, and we can't find it. So we eventually go to the manager, and we're like, yeah, she lost the card. Like, we can't find the card. Like, I don't know, the card's gone, babe. And he's like, what? Like, what do you mean? So he like helps us look. Can't find the card is gone. So eventually he just goes up to the table and he's like, I'm sorry, we lost your card. Like, I'm so sorry. And luckily the table was really nice about it. I thought they were gonna pop off, crazy part is immediately after they left, we found the card. It had like fell and then went into like one of the drains. So all we had to do was like pop the grate off, and then the card was right there. So we called them back, and they came back like I think a couple hours later, which was great. My boss was so mad because he was like, we just lost a $200 bill for no reason, because we literally found it as soon as they left, which was so crazy. But I was like, we were freaking out. We were like, no, where is the card? Where's the card? I remember one time I literally dropped someone's card in the trash on accident, because like I had, like, we would get these little, like, it wasn't like a book, like, you know, a lot of the times you get at restaurants, they give you the book and you slip it in the book and you close the book. At the restaurant that I was working at, it wasn't a book, it was like a little wooden slab with like a band. So you would stick the card underneath the band on the wooden slab. It wasn't like something that would close. And then the bands weren't even like tight, like they were loose. So I remember one time I cashed the table out, like I paid their bill with their card, and then I took the card and I slipped it under the band, and then I needed a pen, so I reached over, I grabbed the pen, and then when I reached over, I didn't realize that I was tipping the wooden slab like diagonally. The card slipped right out and landed right in the trash. And at first I was like, oh my god, their card just fell in the trash, like that's crazy. But I'm like, it's the trash, like it's gonna be right on top, like it's not gonna be hard to, you know, it's not gonna be hard to get it out. I just saw it fall in the trash, it's in there. And then I'm like, it wasn't right on top, it literally fell to the bottom. It was another Amex, and you know those things are, it was like the metal ones, those things weigh like 10 pounds. So it literally fell to the bottom of the trash can, mind you, the full trash can. So I start freaking out, mind you, they can see me, they're like literally at the table right next to the register, so they can see me. So I'm freaking out. I think they see me freaking out, but they don't really understand why, because they didn't see the card fall. So I'm freaking out. I'm like digging through the trash, like trying to get their card. One of my guy employees, like one of my guy coworkers, comes over and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, their card just fell in there, please help me. And he starts digging through. He literally took the lid off. He's like literally, you know the you know the meme where it's just his legs, the legs sticking out of the top of the trash. That was basically him. He was in there for me. He's a real one. And we eventually find it. I didn't have to tell the customer, but I was so panicked, because that was literally like the next day after the one girl lost the card. So I was like, I cannot tell these people that I lost their card. I cannot tell my boss that I lost their card. Like, this is absolutely insane. I can't do this. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. So we found it. Thank the Lord. Because I was literally about to have a panic attack, like full blown about to have a panic attack. There was this one time that we also had like a rally at my restaurant that I was working at. Mind you, at the time I was living in a part of Florida that our current president frequents. If you know, you know. I don't live there anymore, thank the Lord. But at the time I was living there, and he frequents this part of Florida, and so that part of Florida was very pro this current president. And so our restaurant got a call, and they were like, hey, we're having an event in like downtown, like would you be able to, like, you know, do like a little catering thing for some of the people from the event. And of course the restaurant was like super freaking greedy, so they were like, yeah, like let's do it. Mind you, it's like a Saturday night and it's already gonna be batshit crazy busy, but they were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, and they were like, it's probably gonna be like 20, maybe 30 people. Y'all, when I tell you, I look up, you know that SpongeBob meme where all of the little anchovies or whatever flood the restaurant. It was literally like that, but they were all wearing a red hat. If you know, you know. When I tell you, I chest. The restaurant was packed. The balcony was packed. We could not go anywhere without bumping into someone. Like, it was crazy. And so the restaurant is making like the catering food for them. They wanted like finger food. And so, mind you, they were told to stay outside. They did not stay outside. And so the restaurant is making their finger food, and he's calling people, you know, to come to like run the food to them. And so I get called to run the food to them. So I get the food. And so I get the food, and he's like, okay, just take it outside, put it on a random table. Like, they're gonna take up the entire outside, so it doesn't matter where the food goes outside, just get it outside. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I take the food outside. I can barely get to the door to get outside in the first place. When I get outside, you guys, I am chest to chest with someone the entire time I'm out there. People are pushing me, people are shoving me. At one point, someone literally just takes the plate from my hands, like snatches it. I turn around, I go back to my boss, and I'm like, I am not taking a singular thing out there at all. Like, do not ask me. I'm not going back out there. They're rude. Like, they're literally so rude. And he's like, all right, I get it. Like, whatever. So, like I said, they were supposed to stay outside. They start coming inside, which, not a problem, I guess. If you want to come inside, come inside. Obviously, it's annoying to have that many people just standing around, because how are we supposed to do our jobs? But like, if you want to come inside, whatever. The issue with them coming inside is they were coming inside and sitting at tables. Obviously, if you guys know anything about the restaurant industry, like a full service restaurant, we have what's called a host, and the host sits at the table because, one, it's to make sure that people aren't sitting at dirty tables. Two, it's to make sure that there's like an order. So it's to make sure that servers get sat fairly according to the order. And three, it's to make sure that if we have any like parties or anything like that, we don't sit someone at a table where we're trying to put a party later on in the night, you know. And also four, it's also just to make sure that a server doesn't get sat like 3 times in a row and can't handle it, because again, there's an order. Like, it's all for a purpose, okay? And 5, we also need to know where people are sitting, because that's how we run the food to you. So it's important. And so people just start coming in and sitting at tables anywhere. And so all the servers are getting flustered, because we're like, one, we already have a bunch of tables. Now we're getting sat random tables. But then, like, we're like, what do we do? Like, do we take their order? We're not supposed to take their order. We're supposed to tell them to go to the hostess stand. So one of my friends, she gets, like, it's like 6 people sit at a table that's one for 4 people. 6 people sit at a table that's for 4 people. And then they go up to her and they're like, yeah, can we get some more chairs? Like, there's not enough places to sit. Well, babe, you weren't supposed to sit. If you would have went to the hostess stand, we would have sat you somewhere for 6 people. So she comes to me and she's like, well, what do I do? Like, what do I say? Like, and I'm like, girl, tell them to get up and go to the hostess stand. Like, that's what we're supposed to do. That's literally what we're told to do. And she's like, I don't know. Like, they're kind of rude. Like, da 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 da. And I'm like, do you want me to do it? Like, I don't care. Do you want me to do it? Because I'll do it. And she's like, yeah, can you go do it? I'm like, say less. Say less. Let's go. So I go up to them and I'm like, hi, like, so we actually don't seat ourselves because this is a full service restaurant. So you actually have to go to the hostess stand, and then the host will probably maybe even bring you back here depending on where they want to seat you, but you just have to go to the hostess stand first, and then the host will tell you where to sit. Y'all, the woman looks up at me and she goes, we're good here. I said, oh, you must not have heard me. You didn't hear me. I wasn't asking, I was telling. Go to the hostess stand. Okay, I didn't say it like that. I didn't say it like that. And so my boss like basically